Are we just gonna like? I don't have any like thing written down for this. I think it's just. We're just gonna go.
I'm sitting here and I'm like, should I do the intro? And I'm like, no, let's just talk.
A podcast remembrance.
Yeah.
I don't know how much we're gonna have to edit though.
No, probably not much. We'll see. Unless somebody starts saying fuck for no reason.
We could say fuck on this podcast. We don't edit those, do we? Do we edit fucks?
Nobody gives a fuck. I did like the first week. The first week that we podcasted, I edited out the fucks. And then I was like, this is too much work.
I was going to say, that's the problem with editing out the fucks. Because every eighth word can be fuck sometimes. Then sometimes we don't swear at all and it's like really professional. And then it's like...
Yeah.
Beep all those. I want you to beep all those.
I'm not going to.
Beep them all, man.
Maybe I will. Just to be funny.
Yeah. Just beep but bad something really bad.
Or
like town.
Where fuck.
Yeah, that would be even better.
That would be a good episode.
See, that would be something that Adam Jensen would find funny.
Do you remember?
What
the first time we did this?
What are we saying?
The first time we did this, yes.
Okay. Leon's wigging me out a little bit. The first time we did this, I was like, I bleeped out all the swear words with a duck sound. Do you remember this? And I was like, because I thought it would be funny, and I thought Jensen would think it was funny, and you were like, really? He would think that was funny? I was like, I don't know, maybe. I thought it was funny.
That would have fit his sense of humor, because he would have just been like, that's stupid.
Why the fuck are you doing that? That's probably what he would have said. I don't know if he would have laughed, but he would have definitely said, why the fuck did you do this?
You know what, though? He didn't swear, like, all that much. Like, he said crazy stuff and whatnot, but, like, he wasn't the biggest swearer that I knew. Like, he didn't...
I think that's true.
He would, and if he did drop an F-bomb, it was very, like, he put a lot of emphasis on it, and it really meant something. Whereas opposed to the rest of it was just like, oh, fuck. And with him, it was like, whoa, he said fuck, okay.
Fuck!
Yeah, he really owned those.
This would be a big old punctuation mark.
Yeah.
Like a big exclamative. Oh, fuck, is exclamative a word?
Sure, why not?
Like, Google that, exclamative. It sounds fucking really.
I'll go with it.
Sounds really professional and like highbrow. It does. And it's on this podcast. What the fuck?
That sounds like a college word.
What do they call it? A $3 word? $10 word?
17.
$17 word. Sure, why not?
$17.39.
This rolls right off the tongue.
And 6 pence. Yeah.
Oh God.
No, yeah, he did not swear. He did not swear that much.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, that's not something I noticed until just now. You've like said it, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I remember having conversations with him, like on our late nights where we would randomly get drunk in the basement, and we'd have conversations. Like me and Leon would have a conversation, and it would be like just F-bombs and this and that. Yeah. And we talked to Jensen, and it was like real. Those conversations with him were always really calm. And he never got super heightened in those conversations.
Did he ever drink?
Yeah.
He did? Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking that he didn't.
I remember the night I played the Fred song for Leon. And I left it on repeat. Yeah, I'll have to send you the link. But I left it on repeat. Leon was slightly drunk.
Of course.
It's okay. Slightly drunk, like my arms are gonna go to my screen. And it was on repeat, and he thought the song never ended. And he just like looks over and he goes, Town, how long is the song? And you were drinking shots with Jensen that night.
Oh God.
Yeah, you guys were drinking shots. He liked Jensen liked Jack Daniels, and so did Leon.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, he's the one that got me into it.
Yeah, like he loved Jack Daniels. He loved it. He You know, when you get high, you get these whimsical thoughts, but like for him, it was like he'd get that look, like his eyes were always so bloodshot, and he'd get this like look at his face, and he'd start explaining something to you, and it was like for him, it was like because he was high, this like light bulb turned, and he had this great moment, but it was just like, yeah, that's a pretty common thing. Yeah, it's not really that groundbreaking, but it is. But it is. That was. I'll never ever forget. God, who we were getting drunk in the basement. It was Leon was shit faced. Rainville was shit faced.
These both of these shock me.
Town was shit faced. Like we were. It was a Corby Quickie Quencher night. We were fucking wrecked.
That's no good.
And these like girls came on. I can't remember who it was. It's not relevant to the story because they were there, and then we were giving Jensen shit or something, and then he like disappears to the little back room. Like kind of before we redid the basement where we would change, like the other side by the sink and the washer. And he put on the fucking nightgown. The pink nightgown, and he came back over and just sat down and kept drinking, and everybody was like, what the fuck is that? But it was so fucking perfect because somebody pissed him off, and he was just like, I'm comfortable, and he was so obstinate about it, but it was so fucking funny. Then they wound up leaving, and I was like, yeah, okay, I didn't really want them there anyways. That was just he had such a feel for like us, and what like when we didn't like somebody or we didn't want something, he like understood that, and then he would try to like act and get people out of a situation. Like he was really good at that. Like you'd go somewhere with him and you wouldn't like somebody, and you kind of be in that moment where like, God, I fucking hate this person. I wish they'd go away. He would do something to get that person to go away. That was his specialty, and you wouldn't have to say anything. He would just do it.
That's very nice.
Yeah, I have a million nightgown stories. That's how I feel.
He was so comfortable in that thing, which is great.
He was, yeah. It's interesting because I don't know if he was always comfortable in his skin.
Yeah.
But like he didn't let stuff like that. I think Leon, the last time we kind of talked in depth about him, Leon kind of hit the nail on the head when he said he never took himself serious. And I think that's a true statement. Because I think one of the things that we really did, that the three of us in Rainville did, was those higher level characters, we took ourselves super serious.
Yeah.
And it worked, but sometimes it was like, sometimes we were hard to deal with, even though we weren't, because it was like, well, I don't want to do that. That'll make my character look stupid. And we all kind of had that moment of like that, but he never gave a shit.
No.
He just never gave a shit. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, because I think about it like, if I would have been Rex, I wouldn't have done a good job. And if Liam would have been Rex, he wouldn't have done a good job. Like, or you, Bud, like we did not have that confidence that he had. And I don't even know if it was confidence or just that ability to say, nah, fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah.
Which is exactly like, that's who he was. And that's kind of how he always was. If we went somewhere and we were going to do something, and it was something that everybody was kind of on the fence on, he was the first one. He just was like, oh, fuck it, let's go. And Leon disappeared. Hi, Leon.
Leon. That's okay. I agree.
Hi,
like
Leon.
he...
No, like my Discord completely closed.
That's because it's on your face.
It was
Wah, wah.
Go ahead, Bud. What were you going to say?
I think that he had a knack for like not giving a fuck. Except when he did. I mean, there were times when he legitimately thought that, you know, as all high schoolers do. Like, we all had those moments where we were worried about the way that we looked and the way that we acted around people. But he had the ability to like turn that off if he felt like it. And yeah, I don't know. I admired that a lot in him because it's hard to explain. It's like he was never really. I don't know. I just think I think back at him and I think like he was never the most popular person on the planet, and that didn't bother him for the most part because he was just him.
He had loyalty though, like that was one of the things he had because he was loyal, and he had your back, and he was just that guy that, and like he cared, he legitimately cared about everybody, at like at all times, and he put everybody else first, which was just, I mean, not everybody did that. I don't think we did that. I think there was times where I put myself first, and I believe Leon did the same thing, and you did the same thing. Like we all did that, but for him, it was like never. It was never that moment. Like it was always just, bros before everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he, and that's just the way he was. Even even 5 years ago when nobody had seen him in forever, he still. Like he cared, and he still asked about everybody, and he still wanted to talk to everybody. He still wanted to interact. Like he still cared, even when he was kind of on his own little island. I didn't talk to him for a couple years, which I regret, and that was because I was in a relationship with someone I should have been in a relationship with. But I didn't talk to him, and then I just started talking to him again, and it was just like his first thing was like, where have you been? How have you been? And I was like, well, the situation. I explained the situation that happened. He's like, oh, okay. Well, whatever, man, we're bros. And then it was just like right back to normal. He just instantly was able to forgive and kind of move on. Which I don't know that he didn't hold grudges. And I think some of us hold grudges. Not him though.
Yeah.
Maybe Leon holds grudges. I also will never forget the Panthers Super Bowl. When we had the Super Bowl party at my house. Do you remember that, Leon? I don't think you were there, but I think it was me, Leon, Jensen, and
which one?
And Rainville. And it was when the Panthers played the Patriots. And we had a bet.
The 2002 one.
Yeah, we had a bet that Jensen had a bet with Leon. Because Jensen was like, the Panthers are going to win. And then Leon's like, no, the Patriots are going to win. Like, clearly. And Jensen's like, if the Patriots win, I'm going to shave all my body hair. And we're like laughing. And we're like, okay, whatever. And then like they shook hands. They shook hands on it. Do you remember shaking hands on it, Leon? Because you did.
I do not.
Yeah, he was.
I don't recall this one, but continue.
He shook hands with it, and then we watched the Super Bowl, and the Patriots obviously won. And Jensen just stands up and goes, "Fuck," and he leaves. And we were drinking a little bit. He comes back an hour later and just lifts his shirt, and he's completely fucking hairless. His arms, his chest, his stomach, his fucking legs. And then he fucking, I'll never forget it, because I'm half in shock, but I'm laughing because it's fucking hilarious. And he turns around and points at his back and says, "Leon, you need to shave my back." Then Leon's just like, no. So, that was a fucking amazing day. That was an amazing day.
It's totally. I could totally see him doing that.
Yeah, sure. He had no problem. He thought it was fucking hilarious. Totally fucking hilarious. That was a good one. That was a good one. He always paid up his bets. He definitely did that.
In this moment, I can't envision him without all of that hair. He was so hairy.
He was a furry dude, and he shaved it all. And it was like alarming when he took his shirt off, and he just walked in and like, boom, and you're just like, whoa! I said I'd do it. And so we're telling him, isn't that going to grow back even thicker? And he's just like, is that even possible? I'm like, oh, touche. Touche. Oh, that was those are his moments. So I mean, that's kind of where he shined.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we went to that homecoming dance, which is kind of the first time we hung out with him right when he came back to WWA, and we went bowling. And we were calling him the Fonz, and I don't remember why the fuck we were calling him the Fonz. You were there for that one, I think, Leon. If I'm remembering right.
I vaguely remember that as well. At least the Fonz part.
Yeah. But I don't remember. I don't remember why we were calling him the Fonz. He bowled with a hook, and it was like kicking ass. And I was like in the middle of the girl I took to homecoming was having like I gave her a ride home, and I came back, and he was just like bowling this extraordinary game. Everybody else was like, "Holy shit, this guy can bowl!" And I'm like, "Oh, I have no idea what just happened because I wasn't here."
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't remember that. I remember prom. We went to the bowling alley after prom. I don't know if you weren't with us though, but
that one I didn't go to because I went with a different group.
Because it was Leon, me, Rainville, Jensen. We went bowling again. Then we went back to my house, and everybody was going to drink like there was no tomorrow, and I think we all passed out. As I recall. Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
It sounds appropriate for post-prom shenanigans.
I think he was also there the night I bowled a perfect zero. I bowled a zero. And I think he was part of that, if I'm remembering that right. Yeah.
That sort of fits you too.
I hate bowling. I'm bad at it. He was good, but he was good. He was good at bowling. He was good at pool. He liked shit like that too.
Yeah, I sort of remember that too.
I hated playing pool. They had that where the fuck was that place? Kind of like there was a Quick Trip there now, but if I say that, you aren't going to know what I'm talking about because you guys aren't here. Like the town's so different over where kind of by the old Kmart, there was a club over there. It was like a Mexican restaurant. Then they turned it into a club, and then they had like kids night or like teen night.
What the fuck was that place called? Did you say Vibes?
I want to say Vibes.
I think you're right. That sounds right.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's coming to mind.
I went to Vibes with him because we had nothing better to do. And it would have been right before senior year. Like literally like in August because I was in football. And we went there and like everybody from East was there and they're like, "Oh, you left or whatever?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he is at the pool table fucking playing for money. And he's like, because he had no money. And he borrowed $5 from me and he paid me back like $30 because he won like $170.
Jesus Christ.
Playing pool. Cool. Hell of an investment I made. I'm gonna give you 30 because I did actually win it. Soon after a little while, that was my money. But here, have $30. I was like, "Oh,
okay,
buddy." Yeah, no, that was a good one too. He was always interesting to wrestle.
Oh God, yes. He was always willing to try shit. Like that was one thing. Mm-hmm. He wasn't the most athletic guy, but he was always willing to try shit. I mean, in this moment, I'm remembering the incident where he broke my rib. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can look at the last episode. But I also vaguely remember him being one of the first people who I gave the angle slam to. That could be wrong.
Yep. Nope, that sounds right because he was like always willing to do shit like that. He was always willing to do shit like that. When I had the pedigree as a finisher, I fucking hated it. Mm-hmm. I hated giving it to Leon. Terrible, fucking terrible. Because he would fall to his knees.
Taking the pedigree.
You did really bad at it though, because you'd fall to your knees, and then when you fell to your knees, you were so
into my face.
No, not initially. You fell to one knee, and then every time I would rack my nuts on your head, and it would hurt me more than it would hurt you.
Yeah.
So like eventually you fucking started doing that, but I also got better. I got really good at just like jumping backwards and pushing the guy down, so I didn't have to get hit in the balls. It was like a shit, it was
I
a
remember
shitty
that.
move.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
because I just like fucking. The only one I didn't do that with was Rainville because I knew he wasn't gonna rack me in the nuts.
Yeah.
But I remember like Jensen, the first time I ever gave it to him, I was like, do you think you can take this move?" He's like, "Well, I don't know. And I held on to his fucking arms and I just drove him into the fucking ground. And I just hear him kind of go, clunk. Oh. I'm like, "You okay?" He's like, yeah. So then we go to do the move again. I'm like, you know, we're talking about it because I'm giving him another one. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll let go this time. He's like, no, it looks way better if you hold on. So every time I gave him a pedigree, I'd hold his arms as tight as fucking possible and just boom, slam him into the ground.
Oh,
I tried to bounce him off his stomach, but I don't know. A lot of times he just smashed his face into the rug.
How could he not break his nose more often?
I don't know. But that was... God, that pedigree fucking sucked. I hated that move. I fucking hated that move. And then some of them looked really fucking hilarious because I literally would just jump backwards and like let go and push with my hands.
I'm remembering that now, yeah.
Yeah, it fucking hurt.
I remember like the first time you were going to give that to me, you were like, don't land on your fucking knees.
I had to start letting go and letting you guys like grab, like do something because it was like you can't just fall flat on your, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that one I gave to Rainbow where he just bonked his head on the ground, that one was cool. Because he asked me if I was going to let go, and I said yeah, and then I didn't do it.
This right
That's
here.
probably why he no longer knows how to add 4 to anything. But that's okay.
He forgot some math because of me. What did you say about your head, Leon?
This is where I got to start leading with eventually.
Your head?
My forehead.
If I wasn't like, if I didn't have your head between my knees driving you into the ground, it wasn't that bad. You know, to like take it on your head, you could kind of control your fall a little bit. But yeah, some of those that was a hard move. That was a hard move.
Yeah.
What about
when you get it right?
Oh, we're good. What about taking the pancake?
I like that one.
I don't.
Just fall.
Yeah. I feel like I took it a few times, but I don't really remember like hating it.
No, it was easy. It was it was probably between board and super kick, which was the easiest one to take.
Yes.
Because he'd kick you and you just kind of fall over and he wouldn't be anywhere fucking near you.
He'd be over here somewhere.
That wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, because it was almost entirely the person who was taking the bump. Like, they got to control what was happening. So, like,
yeah.
I think when I took it, he would grab my legs, but, like, not real hard. And so I would fall and I would just be like this.
Just kind of lets you go up and just fall backwards.
Yeah.
I loved it when he'd scream, if he was in a match, get the syrup ready, then he'd hit the fucking pancake. Oh, that's a t-shirt, man. That was fucking amazing. Get the syrup. Yeah. That move was...
I don't know if this is where he got that from, but one of the times that he... I think it was one of the first times that he used that. I was on commentary. One of the few times we had commentators. Or one of the few times I did commentary. I think we had commentators all the time. I was like...
Commentators?
Yeah. Somebody get the syrup, because here comes the pancake.
Probably. That's usually how that shit went.
That's fine.
I remember him doing that in the basement.
Mm.
And it would always be like he'd have to like bend down and then fall back. Like he couldn't stand up.
Well, because there was like this much clearance if you were standing up. So if he picked you up, you would be in the rafters.
Yeah, just like
Which I think I vaguely remember like taking it from him, and I was like, shit, I'm gonna wind up with a concussion. But no, like he like squatted a little bit.
Yeah, like a lot.
It worked. It
was weird.
Yeah.
He like squatted down and it literally just was. He said to take this one arm and go, just fall back.
It looked cool though.
It was a cool move.
It was a cool move.
It was an easy move to sell.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
You could just flop down and you could just bounce back and lay on your back.
Mm-hmm.
I think Leon, you even took the pancake a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that usually went good. Even Leon could sell the pancake. That's when you know you have a good finisher.
Yep.
Truth.
Jump up and fall on my face.
What finisher was the worst finisher to take?
Oh, Christ. I don't know. Which leads me to think it was mine.
Well, you had the DDT.
I had the DDT for a real long time. That's pretty easy.
You did like a really snapping DDT.
Yeah.
And I remember every time I took it, my head slipped out and you'd fall back and I'd have to I'd land on top of you.
Yeah.
And the timing would be totally off on that.
But like when Rainville would take it, he would be stuck in the ground, like feet right up. Like, why do you take it like that, you idiot? He's like, because I saw Rob Van Dam do it or something.
That's exactly what it
was. Cool. Just don't get a concussion. That's pretty much it.
The choke slam wasn't bad to take either, though.
No.
That was easy. The pedigree probably wasn't real good.
I never took the F5 from you.
Yeah, you did.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't an F5. It was something else. It was like a modified F5. A move that I now hate, but that thing was...
Oh, yes, I did.
I gave it to fucking Jensen. Because I gave it to everybody.
You did. I think it was like one of those matches that ended with you just being pissed at everybody and you just laid us all out. Like, good guys, bad guys, just like everybody got laid out.
No. You know what it was? Because I know exactly what it was. Because you're right. You took it a couple times when we had 4-ways.
Yeah.
You took a couple in there, but the one you're thinking of is the time that I continuously dropped Rainville on his head, and then he couldn't. Don't touch my head. And then you were supposed to come out and like brawl with him for the overrun. Then I had to come in and play face. Yeah. Because he just couldn't do it. That's when I gave it to you.
Yeah.
That's when I gave it to you. I remember giving that move to fucking Jensen, and he was a big dude, and he just right up, no problem, sold it. Didn't he never complained about moves like that.
He was good about not sandbagging people. Usually, like he had a couple, but we all did.
The king of the sandbaggers is
right there. Wait, am I pointing the right way? I want to make sure.
In the broom.
That one time I had a match with Leon and we did 2 moves for the whole match and we had to do them twice. Like, fucking don't sandbag me, you asshole.
No, the king of the sandbag was Sam. Not Sam. Kazam. Although Sam was real good at sandbagging too.
Well, Kazam was, but with Kazam, I hate, like I've said before, I didn't like working with Kazam because he was so fucking fragile. He felt like he couldn't sandbag. He couldn't sandbag me.
There was nothing to him.
No, they couldn't sandbag me. I remember. Okay, this is the Jensen story actually. When those guys first came in, Damar and Kazam, and we like worked with them for 2 weeks, and Bud, you came to me and you were like, I don't like working with these guys. I really don't like working with Kazam, and Damar is impossible. Like, I don't really want to work with them. I'm like, okay, cool. Then Leon comes to me, and Leon's like, man, those guys are hard to work with. I'm like, yeah, you're going to kill somebody. I don't want you to work with them either. And then Rainbow comes to me and is like, those guys kind of suck to work with. So everybody complained about it. And me in my head, I'm like, I don't want to work with these guys. Like, I can't work. Like, I'm stiff.
Yeah.
I know I'm stiff, and these guys are not. They had their own little backyard thing, but they were like wrestling on a bed in a bedroom, and it was not like we were doing something a little different. So when they like walked in, it was like a couple steps above them. And I just remember like the only guy that would work with those guys was Jensen.
Yeah.
And so he like for like 2.5 months, he worked those 2 every fucking show. Him and Damar fought every fucking show.
Yeah.
And the reality of Damar is Damar was finally able to kind of get it. That was because Jensen worked with him so fucking much. He kind of taught him the way we like to do shit.
Yeah.
So I give Jensen credit for that because eventually Damar was a champion and we got a good run out of him. Then he just randomly left. But
which was a common occurrence in WWA, honestly.
Yeah, I know Jensen worked with those guys and never.
Yeah, I remember that. We were booking that because you and I were booking you and I were booking those matches that summer, And I was like, seriously, we're putting Jensen with, yeah. What else are we going to do? Like,
well, there was nothing he could do. But you can't, but we weren't in a spot where you could be like, you guys need to not do this because you suck. It was more like, we don't have that many people. We have to.
We also wanted them to, like, we were trying to get them there, you know? Like, because they weren't dicks. They were, they legitimately wanted to be a part of it. And we're like, let's try and work with, let's try and work with them.
Yeah. Crispy, Steinberg. When Steinberg came in, it was kind of the same thing. He was such a goofy dude.
Yeah.
Just he naturally was a goofy dude. I like it. He's a great guy. But when he came in, he could not. Like he walked to the ring the first time to Steinberg, and he was supposed to be imposing, and he just looked so fucking lost. Just so fucking lost. And we did like 2 weeks of that, and we like tried to push him as a monster. And then I remember we needed a team, and Jensen's like, "Can we be the fat fucks? We're both fat fucks. Can we be the fat fucks?" And I was like, he's like Jimmy Fat and James Fuck. So he took Crispy under his wing. Yeah. And not necessarily maybe from like an in-ring work side.
Yeah.
But from like a character side.
Yeah.
That made a huge difference.
I feel like he had a lot of matches with Crispy though too.
He did, but that tag team, Jensen like taught him how to like have a character. And then we were able to do all sorts of shit with him.
Like now that you're saying that, I'm remembering like a lot of times where we did that, where Jensen was our utility guy, where we would bring somebody in and they were green or they didn't know what they were doing or they didn't have the confidence or whatever, and we'd be like, fight Jensen.
Yeah, we did.
Because Jensen wanted to do it, and he knew what we wanted to have happen, and he, for the most part, was like he wasn't stiff. He knew the ring work. He was pretty easy to work with.
I think one of the biggest things for him is he didn't have the ego that we had. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, because like I wanted to be the best, and you wanted to be the best, and Leon wanted to be the best, Rainbow wanted to be the best. We wanted to be the guy, and Jensen never saw himself as the guy. He saw himself as, almost like a Mick Foley. Yeah, like Mick Foley never thought he was going to be the guy, just like Jensen never thought he was going to be the guy. He was cool being the goofy guy that could do stuff, and he really that was the role we had for him. Is he's just going to be. He's going to be that guy. Like his character work was, when nobody else could do character work, his character work was off the charts.
Yeah. I remember he was just doing it for fun. Yeah. Which
we liked it. I mean, I think he was passionate about WWA, but I think from like a physical athletic standpoint, I think he knew he's not going to compete with you or Rainville in the spots. He doesn't have the strength of me or Leon. He doesn't have the height of Leon. He doesn't have that. So he's got to find what he has that nobody else has, and he found it. And I think he understood that. We pushed him though. I mean, we did give him the belt, and I think, at the end he was just kind of like a part-time guy. Mm-hmm. I think if he would have been a full-time guy, I think he would have got another run. Yeah. I think that was just kind of it. But
absolutely.
The first time we brought him in was, and you were there, and it would have been the summer of freshman year. Okay. And it was when we had the orange bar stool as a top rope. Yeah, you remember that? That thing finally fucking. I think I broke it. I leaned on it wrong and fucking broke it. I remember that. But he came in and we made him the Great Malenko. After the fucking ISTP song. Yes. And he was like supposed to be this monstrous heel. And he just came out as like this. He just came out across as this goofy fucker. Yeah. I just remember like that didn't click. That didn't click at all. But
it worked in its own way, and we wound up changing him to something else. To something that
he disappeared. He disappeared. He kind of went into a hole after that till about well, that timeline's crazy because that freshman summer, that January or that December was Turn the Page and we had the fucking band. Mm-hmm. That's how quick that doesn't seem like it was that. It felt like there was more time in there. But he came back in like November, December. Mm-hmm. and then that was when his run really started. But
yeah,
I remember that. That was a good one. The fucking great Malenko. Somebody got an ICP CD and it sounded like a good idea.
Yeah. I feel like somebody swiped that from our dear leader. I could be wrong.
No, you're accurate because it was left in Rainville's shadow.
Yep.
And the Shadoo?
The Shadoo. Oh, good lord.
That was the fucking time we started going to McDonald's for lunch, and we would go in the shadow and we would drive there, and like everybody wanted to go with, and I remember like we had a car full of people and Jensen wanted to go, and Reed was like, I don't have anywhere to put you, like we were gonna bring, you know, I'm like, dude, pop the trunk, and Reed was like, I'm not doing that. Jensen's like, no, really, pop the trunk, I'll ride in the trunk. He got in the trunk somehow. We shut the fucking trunk. He rode to McDonald's in the trunk. He got out. We got McDonald's. Dude had a fucking smile on his face. He was happy. Got right back in the fucking trunk and never complained. And I was just like, if you put me in that trunk, man, I would have freaked out.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, thank you.
That was bad. Fucking bad.
Yeah, that's a big old hard pass there.
To put you in, we would have had to cut your legs off.
Yeah. I have long limbs.
Oh, that was a good one too.
Truth.
Yeah, he was kind of a utility now that you look at it.
Yeah.
He was a utility guy. That's a good analogy.
Because he really didn't care about that. Like he didn't really care about. I'm sure he appreciated getting when he got championship runs, but I don't think he cared about that. He just.
Do you remember the end of his championship run when he kind of sat down? I think it was you and I, and he was just like, I don't need this belt. He's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know,
that
and
sounds, yeah.
To this day, I say we didn't book him as strong as we could have, but we had like that was kind of a lion's den back then because we had Hardcore and Borden who were in the middle of their shit. We had heel Shockwave. We had, or did we have, no, I think we had face Shockwave. But then like Orgasmo debuted, like there was all this other shit going on. And then it was like, we're not going to feed Hardcore Borden to Jensen. Because it doesn't make sense because they're still kind of in the main event of the pay-per-view. Even though he's a champion. Because I remember we did a pay-per-view and he went on like 4th and fought Triple G. And like the main event was like it was something totally different. I just remember that, and I just remember like we did not hit a good streak with him, and he was only champion from like February to May. Like he did not have a long run.
I thought it was shorter than that. Honestly,
it was April probably then. Like he because he won it at WrestleFest. He defended it at Green Hell, and then the next pay-per-view he wasn't the champion. So yeah, it was like the end of March, start of May. Yeah. Because he lost it in the we had a fatal 4-way. That was Shockwave, Hardcore, Borden, and Jensen. And he pinned you, and then Rainville pinned him. And then it was down to me and Rainville. It was down to Hardcore and Borden. But I remember him. It was his idea because he's like, I don't want to be the last guy to get pinned. You know, just he wanted to be the first one, but I was like, we can't really do that either. You know, and then because we were gonna give the strap to Borden. Because we had an idea, and I don't remember what the fuck it was. So we were gonna have Borden beat Hardcore to get it, and then that was the day where he tried to do a stinger splash on me, and then landed, and his ankle just went. Pooh!
Oh yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and I want to continue the match. He's like, I think I broke my ankle. You gotta fucking pin me. And I was like, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, so I just pinned him. And I'm sitting there with the belt, like, yay, okay, this is bad. And then we had fucking Leon had like an ankle brace, and like he rips Rainville's shoe off, puts his foot up in the air, and like straps that brace on right away. I remember that, but no, Jensen didn't want to. He didn't want to be champ anymore. He was done with it. And I think that was just always his nature.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was always, he didn't have to be the center of attention. And that's how he was, like, in school. That's how he was and everything else.
Yeah. I think especially in school, like he was always the background guy, you know? Like,
yeah.
Unless he was goofing around with some friends, he was happy to just be quiet.
Yeah. 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 Which is good. Which is good. It was him. It's what he wanted.
Yeah, I suppose.
It was hell on earth. And then we were sophomores because you were a junior, because you spent a whole year with us before we went away to college. Don't argue with town historian. But it was hell on earth, and we were outside. But then when Workasmo debuted, we were back inside. So I think we went outside, but then it snowed or rained or something, so we had to come back inside for his debut. I'm thinking that's what happened, because I don't remember why we were outside than inside. But I do remember Rainville blacking out and Jensen offering to give him mouth to mouth. I do remember that.
Yes. Yeah. I remember both of those things. And I think I was in the back of, like, the group going, fucking hell, Jensen. Why would you say that?
Yeah. It was a fun night. He, like, does this weird dive off a milk crate, and I chuckle and I go and I grab his arm, and it's just totally limp. I'm like,
just flew. I remember watching that, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
I look at the camera and I go, cut?
He was never the same again.
He was fine.
He was fine. Leave my head alone.
Oh, that night's weird though, because I don't think he had a concussion. I think that was a really hot day.
Yeah.
As I'm recalling, and he wrestled like 46 matches.
I mean, that might be a little hyperbole, but yeah, he wrestled a lot, I think, that day, and probably did not have enough hydration, because none of us ever did.
No, he just kind of blacked out. It was just more of a, because we watched that video back like 7 times. He never like hit his head.
Mm-hmm.
He just like literally he's going through the air, and he just kind of goes limp, and then plonk, lands on the ground.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a fun one. But Jensen was there for mouth-to-mouth support.
What a guy. What a guy.
What a fucking guy.
Moral and oral support.
Moral and oral.
Oral.
Yeah. I think the highlight of his AEW career, or WWE, AEW, yeah, WWE career. We talk about AEW so much, I'm just already arguing about it. The highlight of his WWE career, to me, was Rex, but it was Rex's final run when he had Joshua. That was just, that was like right up his fucking alley. That's crazy ass character work. Just fucking, you know. But Leon doesn't remember being Joshua, even though he was.
I do not recall.
We gotta go steal those tapes from Rainville.
Yeah,
we were there.
Yeah.
We were there. We could have done it.
Shit.
I could have distracted him, and you could have searched his house. But yeah, no, that was. I think that was some of his best work. That last summer, that last month and a half, we went out of our way to get him involved. His Jensen's feud with Nemo. Classic.
Oh yeah.
Classic. But his rec stuff was Bad Leroy Brown was fucking fantastic too.
Oh god, I loved Bad Leroy Brown.
He was so stupid. He was there to like keep town in line, and everybody he just bled everywhere constantly. Fucking just constant. Like Leroy Brown was fun. He'd come out, he'd be preposterous, he'd be an asshole, then he'd just get the shit kicked out of him. Mm-hmm. Nothing he said ever really worked. You know, he just like, yeah, it was good. It was totally good. I love Leroy Brown. If you go and watch the video from our last show that's on YouTube, the highlight video of it, the part where Leon carries him through the threshold in his arms?
Oh God, yes.
It was Joshua, Leon. Do you remember that?
I vaguely recall carrying him.
Yeah, that was his Joshua. Because you guys had a like lifetime.
Still don't remember Joshua.
You guys had you were just over the top, cartoonishly gay, and you wanted to be with Rex. That he was adventurous. What he fucking said. He was like, "I'm not gay. I'm adventurous." I'll never forget the way he said it too. And then he had a match with him. That was after the Vaseline on the pole, which we've talked about so much. And then you guys had a match. It was like a lifetime partners match or something. And if Joshua beat Rex, they had to get married, which is preposterous if you think about it. But
you don't even have to think about it.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking preposterous. And you guys had that match, and then at the end, he beat you, and you were sitting there sad, and then he decided that he wanted to be with you. It made no fucking sense. It was a stupid booking, but
yeah, well,
it was a great. It was a
what
great.
Are you gonna do?
Yeah.
It was great fucking imagery. That was a good one. I just the moment for him though. I think that feud with Joshua was probably a highlight for me for him in our company. I thought that was the best thing he did.
It was a great, like, as stories go, it was a great story arc.
Yeah.
As, like, content goes, it was a little racy, edgy. I don't know if those are necessarily the right terms, but...
Offensive?
I don't know if it was offensive. Thinking back, maybe I'm just looking through rose-colored goggles here, but I don't think that it was necessarily offensive or like it was just sort of like we were playing with the idea. Or maybe I'm just blocking all the terrible shit out.
We never made Rex an outright gay character.
Yeah.
Like we made him very flamboyant.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing. I can't believe you don't remember that. There's another video of you laying in the corner with him doing his balls to the face as Rex. And you go like this and go, "Oh yeah, come on."
I remember that. Yes.
And then he like just
No.
the Jensen comes in and does it, and he reaches up and grabs his ass.
How do you not remember this stuff?
Yeah, what the fuck, Leon? You're just acting like you didn't do it, but you did that. Come on.
Well, that part sounds familiar. Yes. Just the character itself. I'm sorry.
Oh, when he was working with Nikki, that was another one that those two on a personal level didn't really get along.
No.
You know, they had a lot of didn't see it the same way. But when they started working together, they were so fucking great together.
Mm-hmm.
They were so fucking, and that he kind of was able to do that with everybody. I don't think there was anybody he couldn't work with. You know what I mean? Like in terms of like character work, you know. Because there was people that I worked with in our company that sometimes it was really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it was like just easy. Like, and I think by the end, the five of us pretty much could work with anybody. But over the course of everything we did, you could stick him with anybody and it would work. And if we stuck other people with certain people, it didn't always work. You know. But you never had that. Like you said earlier, he was a utility guy because it was like, we need a tag team to do this. Here it is, go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he just, okay, let's do it. And he'd come up with stuff and he'd do it. And we stuck him in a lot of weird tag teams.
Yeah.
Paulson. We put him with Paulson a few times.
Oh, yeah.
And Paulson, again, is a pretty insufferable dude. He's prickly, and that's being nice. Like he was not, you know, and he fucking. If you worked with Paulson, it was really, 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 really tough.
Mm-hmm.
Because he would He wouldn't understand. He didn't understand the simple nuances. He didn't understand this. He didn't understand that, and he was really hard to play off of. But fucking him and Jensen, they fucking hated each other too. They never liked each other. Those two never got along. But when you put them together, they were able to do a lot of shit.
Yeah,
they had some tag team. They were the Jacks.
I was gonna say I think they were the Jacks for the most part.
They were some of the better Jacks too.
Yeah,
I don't know if they were the original Jacks. I don't know who the original Jacks were. I couldn't even begin to tell you.
There were a lot.
Yeah. But
lost to the annals of time.
were you ever a Jack, Leon?
Probably.
Yeah, I think she was like Jill Jack or some shit. That sounds like right.
Jill.
In fact, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Yeah, Jill Jack or something. Not real. The Jacks were like. If you've ever played Red Dead Redemption, okay, and you've got like your gang, so you like are always with your gang. We have, there's 15 of us, but there's like 500 O'Driscolls. That's exactly what the fucking Jacks were.
Yeah.
Because it was like they were never the same. They were random. They had nothing to like tell them apart. It was just like, here's the two Jacks. Let's go. So we just write down Brewd versus Jacks. We wouldn't have any idea what it was. And I don't even know how we came up with that. I don't even know how we came up with that team. Jack Off and Jack.
I think Jack Off and Jack Up were the originals.
And there was Jack Down, Jack Left, Jack Right.
Yeah.
Jill Jack. We had them all. It was just like, to be honest, Jensen was probably multiple different Jacks throughout the run because it was just.
He was the Godfather Jack.
The Godfather Jack.
Different personalities.
Did he ever win the tag belts? Did he ever? Well, the Fat Fucks never won the belts.
Yeah,
that was a strange. When the Fat Fucks were around, though, we had a problem booking tag teams because our tag team booking had always been we have our one team that beats everybody and we don't ever have them lose, so we're ready for the next team to take over. Mm-hmm. And we had DGM, and DGM was kind of our team at the time. And we did like 500 ladder matches. And we had the DGM, we had the Fat Fucks. Not you, maybe Leon, you were in a team. Like we had
the bodyguard.
That was after DGM. Or was that before? It might have been before, actually.
That was before.
Yeah, we had like
being in the bodyguard was early in my time, and before me even, and DGM was later on.
Pain of the Bodyguards that got you over, though.
Yeah.
Pain of the Bodyguard were. I don't even know how that came to be. I do not remember. Like, if you ask me about like the origin of the Brewd, I could talk for 4 days. DGM, I remember exactly how DGM came together. I had a English to German dictionary. We found out how to say the Sex Machines. We ripped off the Hardy Boys. Done. Okay. But like Pain of the Bodyguard, I don't remember. Like we stuck them together. Like Pain turned heel and got a bodyguard, and then we started teaming, and then we were like a weird version of Edge and Christian. I don't know how that happened.
Which, I mean, if you think about it, it sounds more like Shawn Michaels and Diesel. But it was absolutely Edge and Christian, 100%.
To a fucking T. It worked. It was great. Mm-hmm. I think, but it they served their purpose of getting Orgasmo over, and then they were gone. Mm-hmm. The only now that I think about it, the only person that Jensen did not want to work with, and the whole time of working with him, was our dear leader. That was the one guy, I know, shockingly, that was the one guy he could not work with. And that was the one guy that he would bitch about if he had to work with him. And that was the one guy he couldn't have a match with because they'd go out there and it would just be, they almost fought once because they had a match. Like they were going to fight. And I was like, okay. Our dear leader had, what the fuck? He had like a flatliner. Mm-hmm. Yep. Like he did a flatliner. It was him, right? Because then he said nobody else could do a flatliner, right? I'm remembering that right. And he gave Jensen a flatliner, but he was sloppy. His flatliners were sloppy, And Jensen like fucking landed on him, so he slapped him in the head. He's like, "Get the fuck off of me!" And then they go in the back, and Jensen's like pissed, and he comes in to yell at him, and Jensen gets in his face. Is like, "Fuck you!" I thought they were gonna fight. Like Jensen was gonna fight, and like he never
got that heated.
Never got that
ever
fucking heated. Never got that heated.
He weren't an angry fella.
Yeah.
No, he was just calm, but that was.
Our dear leader had that ability to bring that out in anybody. Including Jensen.
I threw potatoes at him because he deserved it.
Live rounds.
I threw potatoes at Leon though too because he deserved it.
Potatoes.
I also remember when he became Darius.
Okay.
And that was when Leon turned heel and joined Payne. Then he wanted to come back. And I'm sitting there with him, and I'm like, I replaced you with a monkey. And Leon's like, Tom, that's not a monkey. Yeah, it is. And then Leon came close, and Jensen like snarled at him and growled.
That sounds totally like him. Yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking great. Darius was fucking great. Yeah.
Dear God.
I loved Darius. That was a fun character.
Don't even know.
So bizarre.
Don't know how that one fucking happened.
I mean, I can imagine.
I really think it was, we were like fucking, if I'm recalling that right, we were like shooting our segments, and it was one of those ones where I just kind of like, we were joking about it. I'm like, fuck, let's do it right now. Then he just sat down and was Darius the monkey. Because we needed a replacement for Leon. Yeah. I think that's what it was. I got a replacement for Leon. I have a monkey. Bud's just like, yeah, okay, whatever. That was the one time Leon was logical.
One time.
Yeah, I mean, he was a big part of what we did. You know, he was our friend. He was a part of a lot of those memories. And he was there. Like, he was there for a lot of stuff.
He was low-key there for most of, I guess most of WWA. And I think, especially towards the end there, he was our guy. He was the guy that, like, he was still one of our top character guys, even at the end.
And he didn't want to wrestle that much either.
Yeah.
But I remember, the other thing I remember about him is nobody wants to ref. Jensen will do it. Nobody wants to do fucking camera. Jensen will never said a word. Never said a word. What the fuck was his ref name? I can't remember his ref name. Because you were Mosh ref. Rainville was Schultz. Ref Mephistus Schultz. I was referee Peter Frampton.
I forgot about that.
Which was like fucking hilarious. I can't remember his ref name. He had a ref name. He did. Leon never refed. You were never a ref, Leon.
I mean, to be fair, we would have always been able to tell.
You know what? At some point,
that's not a ref. That's Leon.
Too big.
I mean, that is the other thing.
I did ref sometimes if needed to be.
Not much though. You weren't a ref guy. There was certain guys that were ref guys. We didn't.
We only had one shirt.
I did a lot of commentary.
We only had one shirt, and it did not fit you. But I remember you wearing it once or twice.
We actually had 2 ref shirts.
Really?
Yeah, we had 2 ref shirts.
I only remember one.
Yeah, we had 2 ref shirts. Well, you made your own shirt, and then you wore it as a thing. Then I think when I was Peter Frampton, I think I just stopped wearing a fucking ref shirt. I didn't even care.
Oh, I used Sharpie on a white T-shirt. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just didn't care. I'm just like, I'm the ref. Cool, let's go.
Or maybe airbrush. It might have been an airbrush. Either way, yeah, you're right.
He wasn't ref Chili McFreeze, was he? No,
that was
a character.
Yeah, Chili McFreeze was
that was a character.
Stone Cold.
Oh right.
Yeah, when we did all the rip-off guys, Andrew and Steve and Chili McFreeze.
Hey! Whoa. Steven's Bud's Real American. Don't you fucking say that.
He is the real American, not just mine. Everybody's. There is no other real American before him.
Steve's leg drop was just as shitty as Hulk Hogan's.
I would say better myself. But.
No, he reffed a lot. He did a lot of camera.
Yeah.
It's interesting because he became kind of a behind the scenes guy for us at the end. So, but
which is fine. He enjoyed himself, I think.
It's fucking wild that it's now the 3-year anniversary of his death.
Fuck. Yeah, it is.
It's been 3 years, and it's just those last few years we didn't see him, and we haven't seen each other. Bud and I saw each other. Bud got to meet my dog.
I did.
He's very petite.
Cameras. You know how they say cameras add 20 pounds or 10 pounds or whatever. It adds like 100 pounds to Buck. Buck is like this big. I had him in my sweatshirt most of the time.
That's not at all what happened. Bud walks in and just goes, "Holy shit, this dog's fucking big."
I swear to God, like his head is just like
big
this.
Puppy.
He's a big boy.
Big puppy.
But yeah, it's been legit 3 years, and we're all kind of off doing our own thing, and you forget, like, because it's because in a way it feels like we're just gonna like get back together, the 5 of us, and like hang out, but that's not gonna happen. And it's just a real weird. It doesn't seem real, but it's real at the same time.
Yeah. And
it's been that way for 3 years, but it's not. It's weird. It's just kind of a weird thing, And like I said, we're just trying to, as I told you guys previously, we're just trying to remember him because he was a big part of the WWA. Like if we had a Hall of Fame and we had a first class Hall of Fame, he would be in it. Did we have a Hall of Fame? We probably had a Hall of Fame.
No.
I think that's the one thing we didn't rip off.
We talked about it.
I think we talked about it, and we were like, the Brewd would be the tag team every year because we don't have any other tag teams. And then it would be the 5 top guys. Like,
yeah.
Who else do we have?
Well, the Brewd would be in there. Hardcore Born Orgasmo, Shockwave. Jensen would have got in there. Rex would have got in there.
The Brewd.
Pain in the Bodyguard.
Pain in the Bodyguard, yeah.
Maybe. That's a great question, though. Would they have made it?
No.
But let's look at Jensen's characters. Jensen would have made it. Fucking Rex would have made it. Leroy Brown could have made it. Like we
Leroy Brown could have been our celebrity wing. Like the entire celebrity wing.
Right.
But he had his place, and he had his style, and he had his thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't take that away from him because he did it better than all of us. He did it better than all of us in that one area. But 3 years.
Good
Makes
Lord.
you feel old.
Lots of things make me feel old these days.
Yeah,
being
walking,
old.
Having a bad back, yeah.
What's that meme? You wake up if you're 30 years old, or if you're 20 years old, you go and do 15 backflips, land on your head 7 times, wake up in the morning, you're perfectly fine. Get past 30 and you sleep wrong and you're out for a week.
Infraction.
Oh,
very true.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I'm old, I'm tired, I'm hurt, and I work with
fucking children.
I swear to God, I'm going to get a shirt that says that.
We should.
But, I mean...
You and me, Town. I guess Leon could get one, too. There's probably children at the places. The place he works. No, probably not. They probably shut down the...
There are. They just can't go in any of the fun places. Or, we have to say things about it.
Don't do that. Behave. Damn kids.
Stop spending grandma's quarters.
Oh, God. Fuck.
I think, his legacy is cemented, and we've touched on it so many times. That's who he was. He was that character guy. He was that, God, his characters were so good. He had your back, he didn't have to be the center of attention, and you need guys like that. And we had 4 guys that weren't like that. We had 4 guys that wanted to be the fucking guy, which is part of the reason that shit worked so well is because we had that drive and we would go out there and try to do stuff. And I think he was the guy that, you know, understood the role that wasn't filled that needed to be filled.
Mm-hmm. And he did it really well.
Yeah. He found a niche.
Yeah, he did it really. He's had success with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He had a lot of success, and it's fucking crazy that it's been 3 years. That's all I know.
Not even 40. Fuck.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fucking getting old.
Yeah.
Getting old. Any closing statements, Leon?
Miss you, buddy.
Perfect. Bud, any closing statements?
I regret not knowing him better. You all spent a lot more time with him, and I regret not being there with him, because I think I knew quite a bit about him. I said this last year too, but I could have known him so much better.
Good guy. He was a guy that would do anything for you. And he was a guy, I think, I said it last year and I'll say it again. He was very misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
And people... that first impression wasn't always the best.
Yeah, I mean, he was easy to misunderstand.
His first impression was
once you took the time.
He was a great guy. He was a great guy. His heart was always in the right place, and he, I think he struggled to fit in, and I think he wanted to be, I don't think he wanted to be, like you said earlier, he was like a background character at school. Like, I don't think he wanted to be that. He wanted to be a guy that was involved in everything, but it wasn't who he was, but he got into our friend group, he got into the WWA, and he would have done anything for us. Like, he had our backs no matter what. Even when he was pissed at you, he'd pissed at you, he'd talk to you, he'd be done with it. And he didn't really hold grudges, and he wouldn't, if he was pissed, he'd let you know, and you deal with it, and he'd deal with it. He was an easy guy to be a friend with,
mm-hmm.
but he was a hard guy to be a friend with at the same time, So it's just like a weird mix. But he was misunderstood, but he's such a good guy, and he really, he was fun to work with. He was fun to work with. He was fun to hang out with, and I just kind of wish. I think the thing that I wish is that towards the end I would have done more to try to get him to do shit, because I feel like, and we were a couple hours apart. But we could have done stuff. We could have hung out, and we didn't. And I wish I would have done more to see him and do shit with him and just kind of go, and get him out of that funk, because I think he was in a funk, and then it never happened because life, you guys know how that is. Leon does shit, you do shit, you have kids, you're busy taking care of kids and doing this, doing that, and like you and I talked about, it's like, shit, we haven't actually hung out in person. Leon, the last time I saw you was at Rainville's wedding for like the small period of time, and it's just like, fuck,
Oh, that was home.
And then before that, it was like, shit, when we were 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
We were fucking together all the time,
Mm-hmm.
And then it just kind of, you grow apart because it's what happens, because we go do our life. But I wish I could have, I wish I could have helped him do more at the end. The way he went, I don't know. I don't know anything about that, and I don't know, like, I'm not saying I could have helped with that, because that's not what I'm saying, but just to get him out, just to do some shit and hang out would have been good.
Yeah,
I think. But cheers to him.
I ran out of liquid, but cheers.
I have an empty soda can. Leon, do you have anything to drink?
No,
or anything that's drink shaped.
Do you have a cat you can hold up? Because that seems like something you'd do.
They're both sleeping.
No. Cheers.
I do want to disturb them.
I think we'll end it with this. Cheers to you in heaven, you crazy bastard.
Hear, hear.